Monogram is the sum of many details. Materials harness strength and beauty. Monogram is redefining the world of luxury appliances, one detail at a time. We elevate everything. Monogram, luxury appliances.
True luxury is the culmination of countless handcrafted details, like edge-to-edge handles, polished stainless steel, and hand-finished edges that convey a sense of solidity and beauty. Altogether, the Monogram Statement Collection is redefining luxury appliances, one detail at a time.
In every category, there is one brand that sets the standard of excellence. For cars, it's Maserati. For watches, it's Rolex. For jewelry, it's Tiffany. For appliances, Monogram will always strive to set that standard. Like the work of a master craftsman, every aspect of a Monogram appliance is carefully considered, expertly engineered, designed with sophistication, and meticulously crafted. To further elevate the kitchen experience, we'll be collaborating with some of the world's most respected designers and artisans to create high-end products that match the quality of our appliances. Because our owners know what they want, and they settle for nothing less than perfection, which is why we offer the best customer service in the industry and work every day to set the gold standard for the ownership experience. They need to be confident that not only will we continue to meet their expectations, but we will exceed them. At Monogram, we elevate everything.
I'm Tammy Cody. I'm an interior designer here on California's Central Coast, and this is Tommy Rouse. He's an Emmy-nominated production designer.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And we've worked on a few design projects together in the past.
We have, and honestly, one of my favorites was Queer Eye Japan. You were a huge help on that project because of the language barrier. Your SketchUp skills came in clutch for communicating what we wanted to do. And I need your SketchUp skills again for a project I'm working on called The Treeline House. And as you can see, it needs a major update.
Yes, it still has the Formica countertops, the outdated appliances.
And the kitchen is the heart of their home. The space is divided into 2 rooms, making the staircase area more of a non-functioning hallway. So we're going to open it up by taking down this wall. Now that the dividing wall is gone, we can blow open that exterior wall and add some really large glass doors to highlight the deck and the gorgeous views. Starting with the fireplace, I would really love to see what it looks like with open shelving to the left. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that idea. It's really easy to swap out in SketchUp. I'll just...
What about adding a rug to this area? Can we get some sort of faux fur or something with an organic shape?
Absolutely. Let's open the 3D warehouse and see what they have.
Okay, let's talk about the island. So I'm wondering if we could add one more stool.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We can do that really quickly in SketchUp.
Perfect.
By just creating an array and adding in 4.
While we're in the kitchen, the family has already purchased a 48-inch Monogram range. I'm wondering if we could see that in the model.
Yeah, let's go to the 3D warehouse. So the great thing about this feature is that these are models from the manufacturer. Monogram made it really easy. They already have the models to scale, the textures are applied. It's super easy to spec.
Tammy, I love it, and I think the family's going to love it. And the fact that we can utilize Sketchup to visualize the space in 3D is a game changer. Honestly, it takes a lot of burden off me as the designer to help the family imagine themselves in their new space.
Tommy, I loved working on this project with you. I think we're ready to show the clients.
I think we are.
Okay, let's go show them.
Hi, and welcome to today's segment. We're going to partner here with Monogram and Sketchup today. What we're going to show you guys is the new 3D models that we have rendered, really show you how to build floor plans out, design, and use these existing models to plug and play into your kitchen. So we're going to work today with Josh Riley and Steve Guzman. The appliances we're using in today's segment are GE Monogram. And so these are appliances that have two distinct styles. So we have a traditional look, so our bigger, bulkier handles, more traditional pro look. And then we also have our Minimalist Collection. So the nice thing about this is, and with all GE products, is we've got a lot of different styles. We've got different finishes. We've got everything from built-in to freestanding appliances. So you can really match styles, and that's what we're going to do today with Josh and Steve Guzman. So guys, I'll go ahead and hand it over to you. Let's get started.
Awesome. Thanks for the intro, Mike. Good deal, Josh. Good to see you again. And I look forward to seeing, of course, we saw that little snippet of what Tammy and Tommy had put together here with Monogram. And I'm looking forward to seeing how these appliances are added in. So give us a tour if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah. So thanks, Goose. Everything coming through okay?
Yeah, looks
That's great.
You may recognize this model from the video we just saw with Tammy and Tommy. So I made a few modifications, but just wanted to explore in this session with that same model. And of course, this session is called Creating a Floor Plan in SketchUp and Layout. So we'll talk about obtaining a floor plan from the 3D model in SketchUp. Before we do that, though, I want to jump into what Mike and Goose were talking about regarding GE appliances. And what's so amazing about what they're doing is creating 3D models, that are going to match the real world product. So digital form that matches what you can actually buy, specifying your design. So let's take a quick look at how you might toss those into your model. So just in case anybody is new to the 3D warehouse, I want to open this up within SketchUp here and just kind of touch on this real quick. So this is the homepage for the 3D warehouse. And if I kind of drop this down a bit, you can see I've got some entourage elements here. I've got some bowls, some nice foliage inside and outside. We got a wine bottle there. I didn't model those things. The faucet, the sink, I can add those in from the 3D warehouse for free. So anybody in the world can upload for free. You can download for free. And GE has created just real world products. So let's close this, and I'll just jump over here to my browser, because I want to show you that if you're new to the 3D warehouse, you can go there on your browser as well. So that's where I am here. Here's the Monogram kind of homepage, where you can figure out what you want to add into your 3D model. And I've got these two prepped here in my SketchUp model. Just wanted to show them here. That's how you would find them on the 3D warehouse. Let's go back into SketchUp, and I'm going to open up my components browser so I can just drop them in real quick. So for the demo, just wanted this to go a little bit faster. Just want to show how fast it is to put this into your design. So just dropped it in there. I can zoom in here. The first thing I usually do is I'll grab my line tool and just draw a line that represents the opening there that I have, that rough opening. And then now I can take my move tool and I can just grab the midpoint here. And if I need to help myself, you'll notice at the bottom it tells me Command on the Mac and cycle through grip types. So I can just grab the middle of this, lock in that right or red direction there, snap to the middle. Then I can also delete that line. I'll just move this all the way back, maybe hit my left arrow key, snap it into place, and boom, there it is. So it's pretty quick to do that. Let's bring in the hood as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, it looks great, Josh. We're excited to have these in. So if you've ever designed with GE products before, which you've dealt with, or CAD drawings, and so they don't have that real life feel. And that's the big thing about these appliances, the craftsmanship that goes into Monogram, as you saw in the intro videos. So being able to capture all those details and figure out how everything from the radius on the handle to the weight of the knobs, how that's going to play against your design. And this new 21,000. This new range is a 21,000 BT burner. It has Heston Q. And so I was joking around with Goose the other day because he's known for his SketchUp skills, but not necessarily for his cooking skills. And this actually has the new Heston Q. And so you don't have to be a great chef. This is one of the products you can put in your design and say, hey, not only is it going to look good, but it's going to help you be a better cook with our guided cooking experience. So this is so exciting to see this stuff in real life, and the detail on every bit and piece of this is just tremendous. So great job. SketchUp.
Yeah.
3D.
Awesome. And I want to bring this up also for everyone who's viewing. On the right-hand side, you may see a couple of different areas. One that says Q&A. So if you have questions specifically to what we're doing today or about the appliances, about SketchUp, I invite you to click there and add a question. If you just want to respond, there's also event chat. You can put your yays, your hand claps, or whatever you want to put there. So yeah. And one thing I wanted to bring up too, Josh just pulled up. What we're looking at there is a dynamic component. And so Scott, like Josh, if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about what we're seeing in this in these options window here.
Yeah, so not only are these really well-drawn 3D models that represent a real thing, but you can actually specify or configure options right here. So this one has two options there. If you join us in our later sessions today, we'll see how you can actually change more features of these 3D models. So all you do is just put the drop down, hit apply, 3D model will update in real time. So it's a lot faster to go around textures yourself. And I got there with a quick right click. So just component options here, dynamic components, component options.
Yeah, awesome. And one thing I wanted to bring up also is, as you were changing the settings on these items, if you look at the top, you'll see the manufacturer name, Monogram, and then you'll also see the model number, right? So as you dynamically change settings for these devices, it produces the model number. It's really easy for you to spec this into your design because you have instant access to who made it and what this particular model is called. So, yeah.
All right, thanks, Goose. So, of course, those of you that have joined us probably want to see something that's more about the title of the session, the floor plan in SketchUp and Layout. So let's jump into that real quick. If you're new to SketchUp and Layout, I do want to show you kind of what I'm doing here. So I'm just zooming up, top down, looking at a plan view here, and I can quickly toggle on my perspective if I want it off or on. I've got a shortcut for that. It's also up here in the camera menu. So you're starting to see that your 3D model is your one source of truth. Everything's happening with the 3D model. So if I jump to this view and then go to my next scene here that I've got saved, it looks more like a line drawing, but we're still seeing just the 3D model. So what you're doing with the floor plan in SketchUp and Layout is popping up your 3D model in a way into elevations or plans or whatever you want. So I've got a kitchen section here. And if I orbit away, you can kind of see it's still the 3D model. Let's go back up to that floor plan here. And I'll orbit a little bit and show you we're still in the 3D model. We just got a section plane there with a nice poche. And we've set that section plane at a certain height to give us the look that we want for the floor plan. So we're just chopping those things up. I could even go back here and turn on the section plane so you can kind of see what's actually happening. We've got that section plane. And let's go into Layout. Now I want to show you this view in Layout. So right now, we're over here in Layout. And what I have here is that same SketchUp view, but it's in a viewport in our kind of document set. So if you're new to Layout, it's how you would document your design. And that could be just a quick design packet, maybe even a one-off image, or in this case, more of a traditional document set. So we're mixing the 3D view, in this case it's 2D, but the 3D model is still what's going on right here. And we're mixing this 2D element. So I've got dimensions, text, scrapbook items we call them. If I go over here, you can see I've got drawing references. I could pull in titles. I could pull in, let's go down to maybe some trees here in the plan view. You can bring these in and you can modify them. So pretty quick to really populate your page.
Hey, Josh, one of the things, I always like kind of with the design is there a way to show kind of that sketched hand drawing look while still keeping kind of the digital elements around it? I think that's one of the things is, we do renderings, and I feel like a lot of design clients want to see like that little bit of like a personal touch, almost like you sketched it out.
Yeah, so I did prepare a couple of scenes here, and that's a good question because Mike didn't know I was going to show this, but this next scene here, I did prepare two kind of stylized views, and I've got one here that's more colors and textures are kind of there, but the next one is the one Mike I think was kind of referring to, was more of a really sketchy look. And for those of us that have designed in front of clients, they really like this view where it suggests that not everything is done. So that's kind of nice.
Very good.
That's cool. I don't like sketchy stuff, but we'll take sketch. And school and SketchUp. So those are two great looks. And I mean, that's the sort of thing, you know, you never want to surprise a client with the design. And so to be able to show them the colors and textures, I know we're doing a segment later on this week about, you know, the textures and play, but I love that because there's no surprises. You not only do you see that rendering, but you also get that stylized look. And I think we've all worked with design clients before. We give them exactly what they want, and then they come in and see, and they go, oh, I thought it was going to be a little bit different. So I love that preview. It, you know, saves you time, happier clients, and it's, you know, it's so fast. That's the thing I just can never get over when we sit through these.
Sure.
Yeah, and on that note, I'll talk about how to kind of manage layout and SketchUp together. So still on the topic of our floor plan here, let's jump back in a couple of scenes and see what I want to show here. I want to go into, so let's try to, let me show you the right page here. So let's say we're looking at, let's go to the elevation, and you can see there's no appliances here. So I'm going to go to this view in SketchUp here. That would be the kitchen section. So you just saw me add those appliances. So they're here in SketchUp, but they're not in layout. So if I save my file real quick, file save, this is important if you're new to SketchUp and layout, that you can work in your 3D model and your 2D document set at the same time. So right now, I'm going to go to document setup here. You don't have to go to this ever. I just want to show you what happened. When I save my SketchUp model, it now says old. So it's letting me know that my SKP file reference is no longer current. So what I need to do, I'm going to close this. We don't need that anymore. I just wanted to show you that. If I right click and go to my select tool, and I want to right click on the viewport and go to update model reference, and watch what happens. So it'll take a couple of seconds and it'll update the drawing.
Okay. Hey, Josh, while we're waiting for that to go, you know, I noticed we've got our big side-by-side refrigerator out to the left. So big pro fridge, we know that's what customers are looking for. You know, we find a lot of customers, you know, depending on how they want their appliances to lean in or blend in, we've got panel ready, and we also have those stainless steel doors. So within SketchUp, would you be able to lay the wood panels over that refrigerator door and kind of show a client two different looks?
Yes, you're asking about the wood panels on the refrigerator door. Let's give that a good. Yeah. So if your model didn't have the configurability that a lot of these do, the way you might, well, let's actually take a look. So if this, you know, if it had options, we could right click and go to those options. If not, I'm going to just jump down into the right context here. There's that face. And if I just sample the nearby wood and apply it to that face, I'll be able to see, is that what you're talking about, Mike?
That's perfect. Yeah. You know, and so that's all, I think, a big design question, because people, they walk into showrooms, they see the appliances, they look great, and then you tell them, hey, we've got an option, but, you know, maybe you won't be able to see it in your, you know, kitchen design. A great example, we were in a showroom a few weeks ago, and they had, you know, our built-in appliances, and they had really traditional cabinet fronts on them. And I think it was difficult for the client to understand that these could actually look really modern too, and it's really about the style of the cabinet and the panel unit on it. So that's another kind of gut check when you're working with a client you want to design. You can just kind of show them the panel options, and they might say, hey, I love it, or they say, hey, I want the appliances to be a big part of the accents and the color. So having that flexibility, again, to give a client a lot of options in a really short amount of time, I love it. And think about the ability to do this. You're designing all this in real time, so imagine the clients on the other side right now, and you know, you're doing this design live. I mean, the back and forth required in a COVID environment to send somebody blueprints or maybe print them off and drop them off at the doorstep, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of money. So to be able to show all these different options, you know, up front is a huge time saver. It's really collaborative. So I love how quick you were able to do that. And I'll tell everybody watching that definitely wasn't scripted. So it's that's just how quick and easy it is.
Yeah, and in case anybody missed the update I was talking about, I'll do it again in a different form. But I just want to show that, you know, I've got a viewport here that's the 2D, you know, what looks like a 2D drawing, and then the drawing in the corner. So you notice both of those viewports updated. So any change you make in the 3D model will reflect upon any page that has any viewport that references that SketchUp model. So let's just do it again in the floor plan, just to, I'm not sure if anybody joined later or missed that. It's kind of the big point here with SketchUp and layout is you use them in tandem. And let me show you this plan view. It's pulling up here. It's going to just be that floor plan view. We're going to make a change in SketchUp, maybe adjust the stool amount or something else. And when that pulls up here, there we go. So we got 4 stools in there. We got, you know, there's that rug and the 2 chairs. Let's go into this couple of scenes up here. I've got the 2 floor plan scenes. Let's say the client does want to talk about this in more of a 2D context. So we're in a 3D model still, but as we all know, a lot of people feel comfortable space planning in 2D. So I've got some things to change here. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to make some obvious changes here. We had 4 stools. Let's add 3 real quick. I'm just going to make a copy here and put that right there. Just go divide by 2, see what happens. Got 3 stools. Let's say this rug was deemed no longer necessary. We'll take care of that. Let's say this is post-pandemic times. We need more friends around the fire. So I'm going to add another chair here. Yeah, we're having people all over all the time. So that's a pretty obvious change here. The point is, when I go into layout now, I can get these changes reflected pretty quickly. So first, I'm going to save the SketchUp file because that will alert layout that something changed. And this time I won't go to that document setup. I'll just go straight away and right-click and update that model reference. So give it a couple of seconds, and you should see that rug go away, the stools change, and the other chair change that I made. So
awesome.
It's rendering, so it's taken a while because it's actually redrawing the viewport. So it might be dealing with textures and line types, that kind of
thing. Nice.
Oh, that's okay.
Nice.
I think this is a great time to talk about just what you talked about. So COVID, and so that's a big thing we see in the builder industry now, where we're seeing, with existing home, people remodeling their garage to make a bar space, or taking over that guest bedroom to say, hey, you know what, this room sits empty for a long time. So I love the ability for people to see that, because I think it's really going to define kind of the design of our times, that people want to have that entertaining space. And this is something that we see a lot with some of our biggest builders, is the ability to join those 2 living spaces. And it used to be enough to open up the wall, and now you see that one nice big opening. So, we don't know what's going to happen with the pandemic, but what we do know is if you have a really open concept, it's going to work pre and post pandemic. So I love the thought here to be able to show somebody, put all the rooms in one big space, keep your sight lines open. Because I know at my house, we've opened up the wall, but I still have some barriers there. So this is amazing. And even the seating, that's the thing you don't always think about. So, if maybe it's too tight as you come down the stairs there, you want to get smaller chairs to be able to plan out your furniture decisions with your floor plan decisions, with your appliance decisions. That's, you're really cooking at that point. And that's why, this partnership with SketchUp is going to really revolutionize the way that architects and designers use both of our products.
For sure. And on a related note, I wanted to say, thanks from 3D Warehouse on behalf of architects and designers who really appreciate Monogram being there and sort of reducing the amount of time it takes to put together a design, right? Because we have these real world products that are as simple as dragging and dropping in, and for Monogram to have a digital showroom in 3D Warehouse really just it lessens the time that it takes to get approval on things, because it's just so easy to drop it in, show it off, get the approval, and keep going, right? So
yeah, true. And for those of you that have been with SketchUp for a while in layout and using the 3D Warehouse, you might know in the past you might rely on some random person that happens to be a fan of GE. They modeled their cool range. They may not be having the best modeling practices, and they may not have got the size right. So while that was pretty nice back then, you really want to make sure that you're looking on. Let me go back to GE's page here. You're going to their location on the 3D Warehouse. So Goose, if you want to talk more about this, go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that 3D Warehouse introduced recently, just the end of last year, were the new catalogs. And actually, if you wouldn't mind going back to that catalog, I want to show something specifically. And go ahead and click on cooking. There we go. And so in this catalog here, this is a new thing where you have these nice big banners. You can show off the logo. You have these, sort of featured areas where you can talk about technology that differentiate you from your competitors. And below that, we have the different sections of the catalog. So just like you would have in a real print catalog, if you're looking for ranges or range tops, whatever, it's all right there. You can see how many models are there. And one thing that's great is because these are official models, that they are visually and dimensionally accurate, and and you could take this and render them out when you're done. They're very efficient models. They're not going to weigh down your computer if you add them. It's a win-win.
Yeah, and we love that lightweight feel, Steve, because if you're at a multifamily site, say you're designing multiple apartments or townhouses together, These models are really light, so it's easy to navigate and work around without your design becoming really heavy and really slow. And then, we love the fact that I think we all, from a design client standpoint, we put the appliances in, but we don't necessarily sell appliances. So to be able to have that catalog there and say, does this model meet their expectations? That could be something as simple as, is it, natural gas or liquid propane on the range? It could be, my favorite serving platter is this big, and I want to be able to, chill our shrimp cocktails, our foods prior to our events. And that's one thing I hate about my appliance today, or even the range that we're seeing here. You can fit a full-size baking tray in that. So that changes the way that people cook and how they entertain. So to be able to answer those questions, provide them model numbers, and even link them to our monogram.com page, it answers so many questions that, let's be honest, in the design world, we just don't have time to answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a huge win. And Josh, I think we just got a few more minutes left here. So I want you to, go ahead and give us the final touches on your layout here.
I want to stay true to the title of the session, so we're talking floor plans here, and it actually is really quick to talk about. It's just chopping up that 3D model. So if there are more questions, I can't see them right now, but Goose can let me know if there are. But if there are more questions on what I'm showing, we have a SketchUp booth as well that you can ask for Josh later on today, or maybe talk about what I showed and ask a question for one of our other experts to answer. Don't want to leave you hanging on the floor plan sort of topic that this session is titled. But I do have some more time, so I do want to talk more about the 2D elements, because if you're dealing with the floor plan and you're really wanting to show dimensions and more information, that is something that you can add in layout. So a lot of people see that dimension tool in SketchUp, and you can use it for quick and dirty, JPEGs you send off for information to give to somebody. But if you're really doing dimensions, you want to do those in layout. If you really want to show something in a professional way, in a very legible way, this is what we made layout for. So you can do something like just grab that layout or that dimension tool, and even though we're in the 3D model here, we can snap to the 2D points that represent this floor plan here and just kind of create more dimensions there. I'm not sure if my cursor is showing up there.
Yep.
But I can't see it, so I'm just going to guess here. You can toss a dimension on here. And I think, I'm not seeing it for some reason with my video sharing. Let me try that again.
There we go.
I'm going to bail on that because I can't see it. For some reason it's gone. So, scrapbook items, I just mentioned that briefly. Where else let's go to the next page here. Maybe talk more about, this is kind of a half setup page. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I love the scrapbook, capability. Like, I think one of the coolest things to do in a design with a client is if they have a dog. You guys have dogs in there, so you can lay in all those things just to make it seem more realistic. Or you've got that big heirloom piece in your home, and you're designing that new space. Maybe you're going to rip out the walls and put everything in. You want to see how that piece that you're going to carry over into your new design after a remodel, or maybe you're building a new home, to be able to see how those things fit is fantastic. And I think, the dog always hits home for me, because if you've got a dog and all of a sudden your dog's in the design, this starts to feel more like home, and that's the personal touch. Because at Monogram, we say it's not just one detail, it's many. And so I love that the SketchUp, the way that you guys design fits so well with our brand, because it's all those specific details, the look, the feel, how things perform that make Monogram great, and it's the same thing that makes SketchUp great. So it's a really cool tie-in.
I agree. And in our last couple of minutes here, Josh, anything you want to finish off with before we give it back to Mike?
I just hoping to answer a question or two if they came in. If not, I'm happy to just throw it back to Mike, and I'll hang out here in the 3D model until you guys turn my screen off.
Awesome. Yeah. And thanks to everyone who was able to join us here for this Monogram demo. We'll be doing this a couple of times this week, and we will be available for questions. If not today, then, at our follow-up events. I think that's great. Josh, thanks for showing us how quick and easy it is to use SketchUp and to use layout, to add things in from 3D Warehouse. And Mike, thanks for, everything that you've contributed to 3D Warehouse with the Monogram appliances, and it all looks great, and it's going to help so many people. Thank you.
Yeah, you have it. You've got it. Here's the thing that I kind of take away with is, so we saw one of our collections today. So we saw our statement collection. And this is really, that traditional style, but with kind of just uncompromised performance. And so what you'll see on that range is our features, like our 23,000 BTU burner, the ability to cook like a chef with our Heston Q app and a connected cookware. So all of those things together is what always brings me back to design with Monogram. And that's that we know the features are there. And so if it fits the design, we know the performance is going to be a real surprise and delight for the client. What we didn't see here today is our Minimalist Collection. And the name really truly defines what it is. And so you'll see things like our new steam oven, or new wall ovens, where it's really just edge to edge, beautiful black glass. That glass carries over into the control panels, so you get that really modern feel. And so with Monogram, you can really design for two different types of clients, that one that wants a more traditional look, or the one that really wants to push the boundaries on design. And so as you come in, as you explore the catalog, understand that with Monogram, you have a variety of different choices. We have a lot of new products coming out. This is KBIS, so this is our opportunity to share those things out.
Very good. Thank you.
Hello, hello. I am Alex Uxner, and on behalf of Monogram, thank you for joining Monogram Luxury Appliances for Can We Survive 2021. There's no question the pandemic has influenced the way that we live and the things that we prioritize. We're so excited to reflect back on 2020 and discuss how these current events have and will continue to influence luxury home design. Over the next half hour, we'll hear from the GE Appliances Insights team as they share key learnings and the impact on luxury homeowners across the country. We'll then hear about the effect of the pandemic from a luxury custom builder's perspective, working with clients every day. To the right of your screen, you'll see a series of icons. As you think of questions, please click on the Q&A icon, type your question there, and we will address them shortly, okay? Additionally, we have our team monitoring the event chat, so pop in, say hello if you'd like to make this as interactive as possible. We'd love to hear from you. All right, guys. I'd like to start by introducing our esteemed panel speakers. We have Senior Consumer and Market Insights Director, Alan Whitehouse, along with Michelle Day, Senior Manager for Consumer Insights. Hey, guys. And last but not least is Jason Black, luxury custom builder and owner of Artisan Signature Homes based right here in Louisville, Kentucky. Thank you all for joining us. So we will just go ahead and jump right into the discussion. Alan and Michelle, can you start with providing insight into key learnings and trends that the Insights team has gathered on the pandemic?
Sure, thanks. So, year we've seen everywhere within listings in home. The sailing out home really coexistence at the with people workspaces to clean paddock for their fans home with their kilometers, their restaurant 11, their new students and to ignorance home, private meals home, and desert nuisance solve problem become pride.
Michelle, I'm going to interrupt you for just 1 second. I'm going to turn Michelle's microphone off and then turn it right back on, please. Michelle, can you go ahead and pick up where you left off?
I was talking about nuisance.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep. So, Alan, I'm going to pick up with you, and Michelle, we'll come back to you. You're having some audio issue. You kind of sound a little bit like a robot, so we're going to work on that on the back end. Then if you want to pick up, we'll go from you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think over the past year, we've seen people everywhere focus on how to make it work in their homes, right? Life's shifted from outside their home to now in new routines in their home, and they're trying to create what those experiences are. You see people are prioritizing basic needs, cooking, cleaning, and caring for their family. And if you think about what that looks like, they're cooking a lot more meals in their home than they were before COVID. And you know, they're not going to restaurants very often, or they're ordering in. And they're finding new ways to do those things and looking to create those experiences in the home, even creating the restaurant meals at home themselves. As they search for new solutions to these new problems, it's become a big source of pride. On the other hand, there's a lot of mixed emotions. There's a lot of mixed emotions associated with the increase of cooking at home, though. About a third of people are bored or exhausted or overwhelmed by cooking. That's simply around, you know, they're having to be creative all the time. There's a lot of meals they've got on repeat, and just the fact that there are so many meals to do. On the flip side of the coin is all that additional time at home has forced some creativity and has led to some positive experiences, with about 6 out of 10 people telling us they're happy, proud, and they look forward to cooking in the current environment, whether that's experimentation and trying new recipes, and really just that sense of pride that they get from nourishing and caring for their families. And then if you think about their home environment, the remote work, having school from home for many, it's really driving the need for separation of spaces. So it's really exposed the downside of the open concept home design. And consumers in general, they're just craving ways to reimagine what that space, reimagine their space to offer the benefits of both the open design, but also the privacy needed for living, working, and schooling at home. So this applies to our luxury homeowners as well. We're seeing a lot of those similar things with those homeowners as we saw in total. What we know is luxury homeowners have always had active homes and kitchens, and now it's even more busy and more activity in their homes and kitchens than before. Before COVID, we saw that these homeowners, for these homeowners, life happened in their high-end kitchens, and it was the hub of their home and their family. They really thought of that kitchen as their home and their kitchens as gathering spaces. And before COVID, at least, right, they really enjoyed entertaining, whether that's, you know, your family holiday gatherings or, you know, big, broader parties. And now they're not able to, but they still view their home as, if it's the ability to accomplish the most complex or largest task, then it could handle their day-to-day. So they've always had a desire for efficient use of time and space, and they're always seeking things to offer for convenience. But now they're reimagining the space to better meet the needs and the demands being placed on their homes. They've always wanted to maintain space and calm and the craziness of their busy lives, and now they're experiencing a new sense of craziness in their homes that they're trying to solve. So luxury homeowners are willing to spend to get exactly what they want, and they want products that will last. And they're thoughtful about the products that are right for them and right for their homes. And they're willing to spend more on appliances because they view those as an investment in their home. And they're looking for the highest level of performance and attention to the finer design that will complement their kitchens. So COVID's challenged many consumers financially. Luxury homeowners are more crisis-proof, however. They're less likely to feel the financial pressures of the moment, and they typically rebound easier. If you think about, as they have incomes above $250,000, the majority of these consumers, about 3/4, believe that their financial position is strong enough to get through this economic fallout from the pandemic. And they're more likely to be able to continue investing in their homes in this current environment. And COVID has prevented them from being able to purchase and experience life as they normally would. So, that's impacted how they're able to spend on their home. It's created more demand for many categories because they're unattainable. For instance, these luxury homeowners are more likely to be planning a trip because they are longing to travel again. They are also redecorating and modeling their home or buying home fitness equipment. And over the past several months, travel's been limited. Often it's been more for family visits rather than relaxation or fun, if they're traveling at all. Many say the first thing they'll do when the pandemic is over is to travel and take a trip. But the lack of spending on travel and other leisure and entertainment has freed up finances to focus on investments of their home. And what we know is that in any given year, luxury homeowners spend about 3 times more than non-luxury homeowners on their homes. And it doesn't appear that COVID has slowed that down at all. And in fact, we see that many of these homeowners are more willing to spend on their homes now than they were before. We've also seen an increase in plans with these homeowners to buy a new home, with the intent growing about 2.5 points since early in the pandemic. And whether they're investing in their current homes and spaces or whether they're looking for new homes, they are looking for solutions to best meet their needs, both today and into the future. There's a greater emphasis on wellness. The home must offer space to find peace and quiet as a retreat from all the new activity taking place around their homes. And they need dual purpose spaces. That's really important in the current environment. Spaces that can accommodate work and school during the day and home and family life in the evening. And connectivity. So the ability for you to connect in your home for both the sake of connecting to work or school and virtual dinners with friends, as well as for security and convenience in your homes. So with that, Jason, I'll turn it over to you. Have you seen any needs change?
We have. I was going to chime in and just say, I don't know if anyone else is feeling it out there, but we're ready for concert tickets to start getting sold around my house. And I'm still waiting to find that sense of pride that you were talking about in cooking, but I'm practicing. Michelle, are we back in action before we kick it over to Jason? We just wanted to see if we took care of the robot voice.
I don't know. Do I sound like a robot now?
Oh my gosh, you sound so much better.
Great, thank you.
Was there anything that you wanted to add while we were kind of still on the Insights team segment, or what do you think?
No, not yet. Let's go ahead and kick it to Jason.
All right, Jason, how we doing, man?
We're doing good, man. Hopefully you all can hear me, and we can talk about some challenges that we're facing out here on the forefront here in construction. The first thing we're really seeing is timelines are really getting elongated these days from lead times. So, my advice to consumers out there who are thinking about building or redesigning or remodeling is start that project, start that planning very early on. So, you can't start too early. You can't start ordering your appliances, your cabinetry soon enough, in my opinion. So, we're seeing an increased demand in all fronts of construction. So it's so important to start the planning. And because of the increased demand, material availability is short. We've got a house, we ordered windows back in November, and they're telling me we're not going to have windows until probably March at this point. So that has a dramatic impact on just the time frame of how we've got to build these houses. It used to be a 3 to 4 week lead time. Now you're talking 3 to 4 months. So it's going to affect the bottom line, the time frame, and everything. So you got to have a contingency plan in place when you're building these houses, and again, start early. So the more prepared you come into the building process, I think the better you will be. So get those selections made prior to even starting construction. That way, you get signed off and get ordered, and it'll make the builder's life as well as the homeowner's life that much easier.
Those are some definitely valuable words of wisdom there. Have you seen, home layouts and the needs of clients shift as a result of this pandemic? And if you have seen kind of some shifts like these, do you envision these being long term, or do you think it might go back to normal kind of after the pandemic, or kind of land somewhere in the middle? What are your thoughts there?
What is normal? No. We are calling
it is.
That's right. I'm calling it we're pivoting right now, because the total plan, we're a custom builder, so we're designing from scratch. So we are seeing a complete change and overhaul of how people live and how we design houses. And I kind of think it's here for the long haul, because we're having people move to Louisville that were in California, New York, Chicago, and they're not planning on going back home. So they're planning on working from home, working remotely. So, we used to have one home office. Now we're seeing 2 home offices on the first floor. The kids are even getting involved in it, because, most of the times our bedrooms are upstairs for the kiddos. So we're having study rooms outside the bedrooms, or, if the plan doesn't allow it, we'll have study rooms attached to the bedrooms. So that way, everybody can live cohesively but separately. And I think the plans are becoming a little less open. You still want to have that connectivity from room to room. You can almost see behind me where we're connected to the great room, but we've shrunk that opening in to just about 5 feet. So you can carry on multiple conversations in different rooms, and they can't, one won't overshadow the other. And then we're really seeing the home as people are really investing because they aren't traveling. I think Alan mentioned that earlier. We've seen an increase in fun spaces. So golf rooms, golf simulators, we've done a lot of those. Media rooms that are not necessarily a separate room, but they're open to the rest of the basement. So you can still, watch a movie, but somebody can be playing pool or ping pong and still feel like they're part of the action. And, workout is a big portion of the home design. So with gyms requiring masks, and people are really investing in their workout rooms. We've got a house now we're designing. It's almost 1,000 square foot gym with windows and connectivity to the outside, so folks can take their workout inside to outside. So really having that flexibility of space. And then I think we're seeing a trend towards, people make such a large investment in their homes, in their kitchens, they want to be able to enjoy it for a lifetime. So we're adding in-law suites on the first floor, or if the space doesn't allow, we may rough in for an elevator shaft to, they may not need it now, but in 10, 15 years when they want to go put an elevator in, the space is there, and you just convert that extra large walk-in closet into your elevator. So, just some ideas to think about, but I definitely think these changes are here to stay.
That's super interesting. I could probably use a home gym, and could certainly work on my golf swing there. So and I'd like to open it up. Got a couple questions, and any of our esteemed panelists here, if you want to chime in. But have any of you seen or noticed that the pandemic has possibly impacted the construction and design industry for the better in some ways? I know that can be subjective. But are you seeing maybe some positives coming out of this kind of shift in thinking about construction and home design?
I'll jump in. I think I'm the eternal optimist, so I always want to try to make, the best of situations. And one thing that it has done for our family is I really feel like it's pulled us together. We've done, we've pulled out family recipes, my wife's family recipes, and we've been doing a ton of cooking, a ton of baking, an increased board game challenges. I didn't realize how enthusiastic the family could be about board games. So maybe a few quabbles here or there, but I think it's just what you make of it. And I think it's, if you find something good about it, that's been my positive.
Yeah, and I think I touched on this earlier too, Alex. I think people are at home. I mean, we are seeing a lot when you're looking at recipe sites, a lot more activity as people are going those sites looking for ideas and cooking together as a family. That's a lot of positive around that. And I think that's a little bit of then as people maybe even reimagining their kitchen spaces, what that might look like or how they're working differently in the kitchen than before. So it's been really, I think, encouraging from a consumer point of view of how people are coming together around that.
Well, and one thing too, Alan,
for the positives. Right, trying to create these moments, create baking moments and just little bits of joy in new ways in the kitchen.
Well, and one thing I failed to mention on the plan changes that I think is that we're seeing a lot of is a secondary kitchen or a prep kitchen that is attached to the kitchen. So if you've got a couple cooks or bakers going on in the main kitchen, you have this auxiliary kitchen where maybe you have a secondary convection oven or a cooktop or definitely a sink with windows to where you can have multiple actions going on at the same household.
That would be amazing.
I think you'd have to put me in the secondary kitchen so I can figure out what I'm doing before I get
You're not ready
to the main one. Yeah,
for sure.
Well, let's see. So, as far as, design choices, and Michelle, maybe you guys have seen this on your end. Have you seen any new materials or, and I mean, again, this is for anyone who wants to answer, but, materials or anything in particular kind of from that perspective that you guys are maybe seeing beginning to trend or kind of getting more questions about? Pretty open-ended, I know.
I guess we could imagine that people would be thinking more about how to maintain the cleanliness of the materials that they have in their kitchen now, as people really have this heightened sense of what is clean, what is sanitized, just making sure that all the things that they're interacting with in the kitchen space is easily cleanable and easy to maintain.
That's a great point. Yeah, I mean, are you guys seeing that kind of being considered a little more heavily, even in kind of the design phase? Like, hey, what are some things, whether it's materials or even areas that are just going to be easier to sanitize? I think that's a great insight there.
I think it's excellent. And one thing that we've seen is a use in the kitchen of an increase in a quartz product. So it's a man-made surface. We use a lot of Cambria surfaces, so it's non-porous. And there's others out there, but it's easy to wipe down and the residue just doesn't stay around. So, with some of the other surfaces, they can get absorbed in, so those germs may stay around. So, Michelle, I think that's an excellent point, is how to design around those materials that are just much cleaner.
Yeah, and I would also add too, is if you extend to just the broader well-being of the home. I mean, cleanliness and hygienic materials, but even sound we were talking about earlier around everyone's at home and all the activity. So I think people are also looking for materials or products that might just kind of help bring a sense of calmness or help, dampen the sound as well. I think, just from talking to some builders yesterday as well, was a little bit of the discussion there that we were having around what some of those materials and needs for the healthier home are.
Well, and speaking of calmness, one thing you'll see again behind me is wallpaper. My wife Gretchen is a big fan of wallpaper. She's a designer. So I think our whole first floor is now covered in wallpaper, and each one a different style. So I think you're seeing a huge trend in wall coverings. Of course, the brass is still strong in the finishes, but some mixed metals, as we've seen in our Monogram appliances with the mix of the brass and the stainless, that it really elevates the finish and look and feel of a space.
And I think that's a great point. You almost like, hey, if we're spending a lot more time at home, you can walk into a different room and almost feel like you're, transported into a different environment. Jason, I remember the other day you shared a pretty funny story. Didn't you recently build a home for a couple who went on vacation and then they kind of changed their plans? What was that about?
Yeah, so when we design homes, we want them to be comfortable. And when you drive up to the house, you want to be excited to be home. Like, I've had a tough day, maybe not going to work, but go to the grocery, so since everybody's working from home. But this couple was on vacation and we had recently built them a home, and they were supposed to be gone for a week. And they ended up coming home 3 days early because they said, you know what, as wonderful as the vacation was, we were so excited to get back to our home because we felt like we're more on vacation when we're at home. So it was like, man, can you speak it? That's a testimonial right there. But I think that's just an overall trend to think about when you are designing a home. You want it to feel like you may not be able to get to vacation as much now. So how can you design your space where you're feeling like you're at vacation when you're at home?
Yeah, I was going to ask if that might be a trend. I understand you gained some inspiration from beach homes in some of your designs, and especially with travel being cut back. Is that something you're seeing more often? Kind of a request for these homes being, I guess, that oasis or even their vacation spot where they don't really need to go anywhere.
Yeah, so we are in Kentucky, so there's no beaches here, but it's funny. We do draw a lot of inspiration from the coastal climate and the coastal spots. So you'll see a lot of cedar shake siding and cedar roofs, and just that, not overly coastal, but again, has that more relaxed feeling to it. So we had a client that we met with yesterday, and she brought a home. She was from New England, and she wanted to have, some influence of the New England style architecture in the new home we're going to build for her here in Louisville.
In that same vein, are they asking for more kind of retreat areas or places to just kind of go and get away from the craziness that's happening in the rest of their homes?
Yeah, so it's funny. We'll have a room we call an away room that sometimes we'll design. So it can either be a combination of a home office or den that's away from everything. It may be, close to the master bedroom or off the master bedroom, but it's away from the kitchen. It's away from the hubbub of the great room. So, you can get away if you want to take that call or Zoom meeting. That definitely is a request these days, Michelle.
Man, this is such good. It's funny because, like, as you guys are letting us know on these insights and these trends that you're noticing, I gotta say, I don't have an artisan signature home, but one day, I'll have Monogram appliances and a nice home. But it's funny because I'm like noticing these trends just in my own life, right? Maybe on a smaller scale, probably with my house, but wanting those kind of separate spaces, or I may not have the materials that reflect the sound, but I do have noise canceling headphones that I've found myself using a little bit more often. And yeah, I mean, just this increase in cooking, but also the connection that you guys talked about. Certainly more board games. Are you guys, Jason, you said you are. Alan, Michelle, are you guys seeing that a little bit more too?
We've definitely come more competitive. I've got 2 teenagers, right? So they are definitely all in it to win it. So it's for sure. And I think it is those moments where we're all in our separate spaces, which is nice during the day, right? We're working, but we spend all day online. We are trying to find those opportunities to reconnect as a family in the evening or over the weekend. So whether it's cooking in the kitchen or then playing board games, we do find those opportunities.
Alex, what I was going to say is even though we are a luxury custom builder, I mean, we do plenty of luxury finishes and luxury kitchens and homes that are, 2,200, 2,500 square feet. So you can get, a lot of these amenities we're talking about in a smaller package. So we do what's called a resource room that can kind of be that away room that's kind of tucked behind the kitchen. We soundproof it so you can get a closed door on there and you can still get away from the hubbub of everything. But, you may have a footprint of 1,200 square feet on that first floor. So you can definitely get the look and feel of some of these trends we're talking about in a smaller package.
I love it. All right, y'all. Jason, Alan, Michelle, thank you so much for your time today. I think this was just a great discussion. A lot of really great insight and information. And I'm excited to see the incredible kitchens and spaces that come to life in 2021. I think, things are going to just become more creative and kind of thinking outside of the box, if you will. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. From insightful videos to engaging live events, we've planned a calendar of discussions designed to inspire dialogue and elevate creativity. Please join us again tomorrow at noon Eastern Time with Kate Rumson as we discuss her Dream House project in partnership with Lux Magazine. We also have a full team eager to engage with you. So please take the time to visit us on our Monogram site here in the KBIS and IBIS virtual space. Make sure to explore and see our product highlights, check out our new content releases and design stories from all across the country. And again, thank you to our panel and everybody for spending the time with us today. And we hope you have a wonderful rest of your KBIS.